Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Doctor Who Season 10, Episode 6. It is called Extremis. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. And apologies that this is actually a day late, again, this week. This week there's a very specific reason for it, though. Our comics podcast, which we always do on Saturdays, went an extra 2 hours because it was a big anniversary episode, and it's really screwed up our schedule for everything now.
Yeah,
For the
it's
next
had a
couple of
real
days.
knock-on effect, and we're regretting it.
But I don't regret the episode. It was a good
But I,
episode.
I regret the scheduling of the episode.
I do, yes. That we could have thought that out better. But anyway, we're here. So Doctor Who, and I honestly think this might be the best episode of the season so far.
Oh, it absolutely is. And you know what? I was shocked when I went around after. I was like, oh, who wrote this one? Moffat. Moffat wrote this one. The knob. What's he doing pulling out good episodes? I thought he was done.
Do you know what the thing is? Because I seen some of the next time on.
And yeah, you saw
Last week.
Missy.
I saw Missy, and I saw I don't even.
I think you saw the Pope stuff.
Yeah, I think I saw the Pope, and I went, oh. That made me go, oh. Like, I wasn't looking forward to the episode. And then it ended up being pretty good. And not only was it good, it did a good job of setting up what the end goal is going to be for the season, what the big threat is this year that's coming.
Potentially.
Or at least a big threat that's coming that we're building to.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But, no, so I thought that was good. And it had a fun little twisteroo in there as well towards the end, which I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. It can't be. But sure enough, most of the episode, it's like, no,
It
no.
was.
Pretty much all this episode was just in a simulation. It was a Matrixy type deal, where this alien force is basically running strategies and analyzing how the invasion will go with a virtual version of our world, to the point where they've recreated the Doctor, they've recreated Bill.
Well, you got to
and-
recreate the Doctor. If you're going to take over the Earth, your biggest thing that's going to fight you is the Doctor. You've got to, practice beating that thing.
and they're so thorough, they're so accurate with their creations of the characters, that the Doctor somehow finds a way to send a message to the real version of himself to warn him that this is coming.
Yeah, that bit is a little bit of a Moffatism, I shall say.
I'll be honest, I kind of like this one. So a lot of times he pulls some shit that I think, that's a bit silly. This one, I kind of like the idea that even the copy of him is good enough to at least send a warning.
No, I agree. It's still a Moffatism, but this reminds me of the times when he did this early on, where I didn't mind it. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. It doesn't really make sense in my head, but I'll let it slide because it's a smaller thing. It's when he's done these big stupid things that annoys me.
Yeah, I mean, because if you're really thinking about it, why does this people in this world have connection to the real internet, like, or the real
Yeah.
world? Like, why is it even possible for him to send out a message? I mean, arguably it's just an oversight by the aliens who are coming, but I also thought this episode was really funny. I was
Yeah.
cracking up, and maybe that was having Nardole and Bill as a team for like half the episode, and that was, them like sauntering out into the Pentagon and being like, what, third floor or what? Of what? The Pentagon. All right, and they just back away out the room and back
Yeah.
to the weird teleporter thing in the middle.
This episode did solidify to me that I actually do like Nardo.
Oh yeah, Nardole was good in this. Bill was good in this. Bill was cracking me up. She brings her date home, and her foster mother, if that's the right term, who is like, "Oh, you didn't bring a boy home. I've got really strict rules about boys, not as strict as mine."
Yeah.
That was a pretty funny line. And then, although the moment that cracked me up to no end was when the Pope just walks into the room and she's sitting with her date and walks back out. They're just sitting there in silence, and then her date goes, "That was the Pope." that line broke me.
Yeah,
That cracked
yeah.
me up. This was a legitimately really funny episode.
That, and then when she walks into the bedroom and there's just all these priests huddled around the TARDIS at her bed, and she's just like, no. And the Pope's just like, not the Pope, the other priest is just there like,
Yeah.
what do you want me to do?
Do you know what I like about it as well? It's even funnier because she's gay. It's like a group of priests have like come round the house to try and like.
And then she goes,
have a-
you're all going to hell.
Yeah, it's like they've come round for an intervention. Oh, we've heard about this gay girl. We're going to come round to her house and do like some sort of weird exorcism. I mean,
Do you know what I'm going to say? Like, the idea of using the church in this, and they were standing for religion as a whole essentially here, but works really well for this episode. Given like the grand themes of believing in reality, it kind of is parallels nicely to religion.
I don't know. That was a nice idea. I think it works well. Obviously, at least the smaller things. They've got a secret room with all these books where Bill drops a Harry Potter reference and all the rest of it.
I love it when you get magic Vatican rooms. I just every time I see that in any sort of fiction, it's like, okay, I'm in.
Although I've got a funny feeling that actual hidden secret Vatican rooms are used for vastly different purposes, but I'm not going to bring the tone of this show down.
I think it's too late for that, frankly.
No. I wanted you to think it. I didn't have to say it. You know exactly where I was going with that.
Everyone know where you were going with
that. So, also another moment I really love. So the plot of this one then, inside the virtual world before we get to that, is basically a bunch of people who have translated this Veritas book, which is why the Pope's contacted the Doctor. It's because anyone who's read it and translates it to actually understand it kills themselves eventually within a period of time for some reason. So they want the Doctor to read it and figure it out. So they take him to this secret library and blah 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 blah. But there's this one guy that's already there in the cage, and he's like, "Oh, I read about it and he's crazy," and he runs off. And I like that a couple of minutes later, Bill's like, "Well, at least one person hasn't killed themselves." Bang!
Bang.
You just hear the gunshot. And maybe I shouldn't laugh at that, but that really made me laugh.
No, it's the sort of dark humor that I really appreciate Moffat doing, because that was the sort of stuff that he was really good at.
Yeah, no, I was legitimately cracking up during the first half of this episode, and then the second half, I actually did. I liked where it went. Like sometimes, I mean, we've spoken about in the past. That episode in the house, I hated where that way. I thought that was silly. Here, I liked the idea that the soul of the Doctor still kind of rung true, even in this fake version, in this fake world. And the essence of the man, as it were, still existed.
Yeah, it's that good a simulation that it was still him.
Yeah, and that sent the warning. Well, of course, the other main thing that's going on in this episode is that we keep going back to the past. We kind of see the origin of this vault, where the vault came from, who's in the vault. Now, admittedly, who's in the vault ended up being like the most obvious answer possible. Is the Master, or Missy specifically.
I'm okay with that as they've revealed it now. If that had been like a big end of season reveal, that'd have been extremely disappointing.
Yeah, it'd have been weird if they'd kept that all season.
But halfway is like, okay, I'll let it off.
And they do a little tease as well at the start, because you think this group of people who like basically perform executions, it sounds like they're about to execute the Doctor for some reason. Like they'd really play it as if it's him that's.
Do you know what is really weird? I was watching this with the girlfriend, and once it became clear, he wasn't being executed, she goes, "Oh, I thought they were going to execute him." I was like, "Really?" Like that never even crossed my mind for some reason.
No, it was because they definitely wanted to imply that the way they were showing it, because
I went back and watched it again after she'd said that, and I was like, oh yeah, you're right, they did want to imply that. It just for some reason when I was watching it never crossed my mind. So, maybe it is because I'd seen Missy in the next time, and I just put that together. So
much so that to the point where there's a line for me that still feels kind of weird. That they're actually not killing him, because he says, "Oh, we need another Time Lord to perform this. You'll forgive her choice." And she's not even there. It feels weird that he's saying that when she's not entered she's not came out the door yet.
No, that makes sense to me, because I was like, well, forgive our choice in having to choose you, because
okay, right, yeah.
We're sorry that it had to be you, but we can't get any others.
Yeah, okay, no, that's fair. If I go back and watch it again, maybe I'll read the.
Yeah, this is weird, because obviously that's how I was reading it the whole time. And
no, but I didn't. I read it as if they're implying they're about to kill him. And then they bring her out, and it's like, oh, they're going to use the Master to kill him, and then it flips it, and then she's the one that steps on the
see, because I went back and watched it. There's that moment where they say, "Oh, put the prisoner forward on their knees,"
and it cuts
between them.
Yeah, it's clearly the moment where you're like, "Oh,
which one's going to walk forward?" Yeah. And when I went back and watched it, I was like, "Yeah, they really were putting it through that way. Why didn't I get this before? I don't know what happened."
Because you're a fraud.
Maybe I just saw through their bullshit and went straight to the actual answer. I've watched too much of Moffat's nonsense.
Oh dear. So and he basically refused to kill her, and I'll guard her in that vault for
a
10,000
thousand
years?
years.
Was it just 1,000? I'm inflating that.
Yeah.
But and that's kind of the origin. Nardle's there. Nardle comes up with the River Diary or whatever it is, and
Yeah.
sort of gives him his little speech, which inspires him later on in the episode. But because we find out that the only real thing, obviously the flashbacks happen because they were real and
Yes.
happened ages ago. The only real thing that happened in present day though was him sort of banging the door and sort of crying about being blind.
Talking to the vault.
Yeah. And because we come back to him at the end, and he's sitting there because you see him get like the start of the message that says Extremis on his glasses, on his matrixy glasses. But you think, I think at the time I read it as he was sending something because he was like tapping around, and I thought he was sending this thing, and it wasn't until the end you were like, oh no, he was just getting the message from essentially.
I actually really like the effect of how that went into the credits, the title, you know, where it kind of broke up the screen and went fuzzy, and then went into the sequence. I thought that was nice.
Yeah. What I like about these glasses and helping him see, it's like it gives him enough that he's not walking into walls because it shows him the physical boundaries of the room, but it doesn't show him things like light or patterns or colours or anything like that. It still feels like he's at a disadvantage, but there's enough that he's not...
He can see walkways, but he can't, and he can see there's people there, and he gets, he's get their bio readings, but you can't see faces, you can't see words, colours.
Yeah, anything like that. Because at one point, there's a beam of light that appears, and he just sort of waits for Nardle to, awkwardly shout out.
Awkward shouting out of what was going on and being very unsubtle was cracking me up. It was the one that really got me was when they pushed the piece of paper that said Veritas on it, and it was like, oh, we got the name, and they push it across, and he goes, what name? And I was like, oh yes, I see this piece of paper here that says Veritas. Oh, very good, that must be the name.
I also liked his little thing where he keeps trying to walk in front of Bill to protect her because it's a dangerous location, and she's like, no, this isn't happening. It's like, look now, I am the one man licensed to kick the doctor's arse. Don't think that you won't follow my orders, should I tell you them? And she's like,
it's a good little moment for him, actually.
Are you secretly a badass? Oh yes. And then he has a little jump and he gets scared. Wasn't one of the better laughs, but it was because it was an episode full of good laughs. So there was a lot of funny moments that really cracked me up. So I can't complain about this one. I legitimately feel enthusiastic about this episode.
Yeah, and it's made me going, okay, I get some hope for the season going forward. I mean, I was enjoying it anyway, don't get me wrong, but it was very by the numbers. This was the first episode that was above and beyond.
Yeah, I felt like there was a direction here. Like, okay, him being blind for a little bit is going to give him this penalty. I mean, hell, maybe he'll be blind the rest, because if he's going to regenerate at the end of the season for the new Doctor, then maybe they're going to go all season with this now. Maybe not. I'm not necessarily. I wouldn't put money on it, but they could.
They could. You're right, and I'd be okay with that because I think it's interesting. And I mean, I was expecting it to be kind of just gone by the end of this episode, frankly. Yeah,
but because I know we're close to regeneration, relatively speaking, I feel like maybe they will just have this until it's time.
Yeah, it's possible.
And then new Doctor eyes can work. And that's fine.
I mean, that's typically how eyes do it.
Well, aye. You say that as if getting a new body is a normal thing for people.
I mean, sure. I'm just going. All right, fine. That was.
I will say this: I do like the idea that it's hard to execute a Time Lord because they can regenerate. That's why even if we kill Missy, it's like, oh, you need to guard her just in case.
Yeah, I think there used to be a thing on Gallifrey where they killed them over. They like kill them, wait for the regeneration, kill them, because obviously they only get 12 regenerations. Yeah,
except they've rigged the Doctor so we can have them for another 12.
Yeah. They've bullshitted the rules a little bit because they never thought they were going to get that far, obviously.
Yeah.
But the idea was because they give and take the regenerations anyway. But they were like, right, you've got this many, we can just use them up. So this place overcomplicates.
I bet if Moffat could go back in time, he'd go back to whatever episode first mentioned this whole 12 rule and was like, hey, bump it to 25. just bump it. Just make my job easier. Just bump it to 25.
Just take off the limit.
Yeah, so it was a good episode. I'm into it.
It was. What do you think about the alien threat?
The alien threat. I like the idea that they're big enough that they think they've sussed it out, that they've mapped for everything.
Yeah.
I like that idea. It looks okay. It looks menacing. He's got kind of a red cloak, Grim Reaper kind of vibe.
Yeah, I like that when he talks, his mouth doesn't move.
Hmm.
Like it's like this telepathy thing. I thought that was a pretty cool effect.
Yeah. So
I
that's
mean,
cool.
I'm not sure this is going to be like a the rest of the season for him. I feel like this could be just the next episode because the whole thing was he's launching it tomorrow.
Hmm.
So this could be just next episode is
It
we're
could
going up
be.
against him.
Admittedly, I don't think the next time on made it look like it was all focused on this.
No, no, it didn't. But
So I could see it
after
being like,
after the next time on last week swerved us
yeah,
with this
true.
episode, I'm not entirely
Yeah,
convinced
that's true.
anymore.
I could see it being a
And
little arc, but it's definitely the first time this season where I've liked the plot. Like I feel like I've liked Bill and the Doctor interacting, and I've liked a bit of Nardole. I've liked the banter. The plots have just been kind of
yeah, they've
here
been
or there.
standard, haven't they?
Yeah,
They've not been bad, with the exception of the one that Peter actually dislikes.
yeah. But even the ones that I was liking the rest of the episodes, they were kind of just typical
Yeah,
Doctor
yeah,
Who
they were.
plots.
Doctor goes to a place and something happens.
This
Standard.
is the first time in the season where I've been like, oh, this is interesting. I like this. And it does a lot of good things for his character. And
Yeah,
fake Bill being terrified that she's about to go, and even just the idea of the mystery in the episode that all these people are committing, because they go to the science place, the
son.
CERN. There you go. And all these scientists are like about to commit mass suicide,
Yeah,
and the moment when because. It's one of these things where I really like the mystery that whoever reads this is going to commit suicide, but it does set up this impossible task of what could it possibly be that I would feel satisfied that they're going to commit suicide.
and
And
it's kind of really high praise that I don't feel let down by the answer.
it's kind of good. They basically realize the world's fake.
Yeah, yeah, and you kind of go, oh, this is cultists, where you have like the
Yeah.
mass suicides. It's like, oh, maybe it was like this for them, like in their simulation.
And I like that he didn't come out and just say it first either. He did that thing with the numbers where he made Bill and Nardole say
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
numbers, and you go, "What is going on? This is weird. Like, what are they proving here?" Um, and it worked. I like that idea that you realize you're in a computer. It's almost like if in Inception you realize you were dreaming kind of thing, and you have to kill
yeah,
yourself to wake up. It really felt like that kind of idea.
yeah. It was really nice because obviously I was kind of into the episode anyway. I was having fun and I was enjoying the Vatican, underneath the Vatican secret rooms, all that stuff. I'm into that. And then it got to this stuff where it's like, oh man, simulations, alien invasion, this is it. And I was down.
Yeah, well, that was good. There you
Really
go.
was.
That was I think the first glowing review of the season.
Hmm.
So there we go. That's Doctor Who. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. It helps us out. You can help us out a bit more, of course, by going over to patreon.com/mildfuzztv and see some of the perks and bonuses over there if you want to support the channel. But otherwise, guys, that's us. So get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. Individual Twitters are on the screen. Thanks once again for watching. Have you got any vanilla?